is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 83. Wow, that's a lot of episodes, dude. Of Hobby Hotline, the hobby's only live call-in show. And we had a bunch of things come up this week, so we're scrambling with a little pull-together crew, as a lot of people were busy and had some unexpected things come up. But as always, my name is Drew, or the DH, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Chris Harris. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? Wasn't expecting to be on the show this week,
Me
especially
today.
after last week.
Right, right.
I guess we should probably explain why I'm on the show this week.
Well, I'll let you do that.
Our friend Brad, the Texas card dude,
yes,
had a death in the family this week and could not be here.
Yeah,
and I'm came off the bench to pinch hit today. So
yes, we both did actually, and our thoughts and condolences go out to Brad, and I hope he's doing good and everything. I know he's at the Dallas Card Show some today, I think, having a little bit of fun too as well, hopefully. Awesome, Rex. I love it. Always on the big screen at the shop. That's awesome, dude. DM me on Facebook. I wanted to talk to you about that, actually. But welcome.
Are there any other card shops that air us?
I know. That's why I wanted to talk to him, because that's pretty cool. And that's pretty cool. And I'd like to discuss some stuff with him because of that, because we greatly appreciate that. But thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in today. As I said, this is it's a little bit of a makeshift show. We are pulling everything together right now. There is a big Dallas card show today that our good pal and co-host on Hobby Hotline, Rich Klein, I know, is set up at, and I believe Brad's going to go out there for a little bit today. And if you were at the Dallas card show, guys, please call in and let us know how it's going, because, they canceled a card show up here in North Carolina. They've canceled a couple other shows that I've seen, but the Dallas one's going on. So I would love to hear anyone's, thoughts on how that show's going and everything. I put the link in the chat, so give us a call. And then also, of course, if you have any questions, comments, or just anything about all the craziness that's gone on the last 2 weeks in the hobby, please call in, give us your perspective.
Yes, please call in.
Like, this is the thing, guys. Like, we'll sit here and we love talking to each other and talking about the hobby with you guys, but we love it even more when y'all call in.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of fun to interact with you guys. The point of Hobby Hotline has always been community and showing that the hobby, like John Newman says, the hobby is the people. The hobby, we are a family here. So we love talking to you guys. You don't have to be on video if you don't want to. You can put it on just audio. It's no big deal. It does not matter whatsoever. But we would love to have your calls and talk to you guys about this as well, not only just through messages, but what's going on, Panini NFTs, Logan, what's going on, brother, Frank, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. But Chris, man, I guess there's only one place to start, and that's where I kind of get where we left off last week. I was only able to call
the other more shoes keep dropping with the Fanatics.
The dominoes are falling, my friend.
So they've picked up the baseball and the Players Association license last week, or was that 2 weeks ago now?
2 weeks. Well, yeah, week and a half somewhere. Yeah.
And they got the NBA and the NBA Players Association license
late last week, and then the NFL.
Then we figured out the NFLPA, a 20-year license.
20 years. That's
and insane. It doesn't even go into effect for another 5 years. So
right.
There are players who haven't even been born yet.
Yes.
That are going to be covered by this license. And and I think that the Players Association might regret that license over time.
I think you're dead on. I think that's very true. But I will say this: I have never seen the Players Association and the actual league in all sports work together so quickly. Ever. Yeah. Like, they don't work together that great. Like, not, I mean, the whole point is to fight each other. That's the
labor
idea.
And management. That's the whole way unions are supposed to work.
Exactly. But it's been incredible to see how these guys have worked together. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that this is 20 years is a long time. And,
I mean, think about it. Remember what the hobby was like 20 years ago? Or 25 years ago. It was completely different.
Yes.
We don't know what the hobby is going to be like 5 years from now.
Shit, we don't know 6 months.
Now.
Yeah.
Or 6 months from now. So I think future members of the Players Association are going to look back and kind of regret what their forefathers did in 2021 regarding the trading card license.
Yeah,
and who knows? Maybe there might not be a trading card business as we know this, and this will be a constant stream of revenue. We don't know. But what the Players Association is doing now is really sacrificing their future members' potential revenue stream.
It's really interesting too.
Now.
It's really interesting too because this is kind of almost, I see this almost as like Chris Paul's last hurrah and go before he dips out in the Players Association, because he's about to hand over that role that he's held for a really long time, and this seems like something that I honestly don't think he has. It seems like he's wanted out of this role for a while because he knows what's coming up, which is a ridiculous labor negotiation that's going to be hell, and so I think he's been planning this exit strategy for a while. I don't know how much thought he gave to this. I don't know how much thought he's giving to this anymore. I don't know if he's fully checked out of that position because he is giving that power up. I mean, I know he does share it with Michelle something or another. There's a couple in there, but he's the main person, and this could be the next this could be just his last going out, like, quote unquote, legacy thing that he leaves. And Panini NFTs brings up a great point of the next few years of uncertainty. Now the uncertainty level is where we're at right now. Like, all of this stuff, like you said, 5 years is when some of these go into effect, 3 years for baseball. So the hobby as we know it, quote unquote, is going to stay the same, even though I think you're going to see a ton of changes. But in terms of the regular Topps and Panini releases, they're going to be the same, but eventually it's going to change. But like Panini NFT says, he's thinking of taking time out for a few years. And that's where I'm seeing, a lot of people that could possibly be doing that. But I'm also seeing a ton of people that are diving into this hobby. So I don't think that it's going to have a massive effect on, like, up or down. I think it's going to stay pretty much the same and go on the curve it's going to go on, because the hobby is just going to adapt and deal with it. But there are going to be people that say screw it, I think.
The thing is that Fanatics is getting in, not at the ground floor, but right at the peak of the hobby right now.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me, here's the analogy I want to use, of the Los Angeles Angels' free agent spending strategy.
Yes.
Okay. They sign these superstar players at their peak, and they're paying for past performances.
Yeah.
So you saw it with Albert Pujols. They got him at his peak. They overpaid him, and they wound up regretting it years later.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Hamilton, they got him at his peak. They overpaid for him, and they just cut his losses by shipping him back to Texas.
Yeah.
Probably the same thing with Anthony Rendon.
Right.
So, yeah, I think Fanatics is getting in, and they're getting in at the peak of the hobby. They're assuming that the hobby is going to continue to go up. We're going to see evidence that it's plateauing out a bit.
Well, I mean, it depends on where you look at.
That they've acquired, that they're not going to be able to get their hands on.
In terms of plateauing,
3 or 4 years.
In terms of plateauing and things like that, Chris, in terms of plateauing and things, I mean, that's one of those things where, I mean, I can show you 20, 30 different markets that are skyrocketing, as well as 20 or 30 that are dipping tremendously. Well, it's always going to be like that, I think.
Some of them are probably trailing indicators, but
we'll see. But there's a couple questions I do want to get to here. Jim Pierpoint, thanks. He says, regardless of who prints the cards, I'll still collect. I love Topps baseball, but it is what it is. I want to point out something, Jim, regarding this question. And then there's a question from DR that I want to get to earlier in the chat as well. But Topps only prints Topps now. And they have the same company prints all cards for Topps and Panini. They're called Cartamundi and GCI. There's two companies in Texas. Now, Topps has acquired another printing facility for F1 and all their European stuff over in Italy, and it's the worst facility in the world, so I doubt it lasts very long because they can't even serial number cards without damaging each one of them. But they don't actually print the cards, so the printing and all of that stuff isn't going to change. The quality, unless they change printers, is not going to change. But what would not surprise me one bit, which we talked about on Let Me Eat That Potograph this week, is if they buy Cartamundi too. I can see them buying Cartamundi and just straight up taking this and just controlling every single portion of it 100%. And I think they have a good chance.
Or at least starting their own printing press.
Yes, exactly. Printing now, DR says, for those, I guess this is addressing anyone that has doubts on this. And guys, please call in and let us know your answers to some of these questions, or if you have a question or a comment on any of this. But is there anything Fanatics can do that would make you pause buying new modern cards in 2026 and beyond? And that's a really good question. Like, I mean, they're going to keep making the cards and stuff, but is there something they could do that could make you say, nope, I'm out?
It depends on what they make. If they
well,
make,
I mean, they're going to make
everything. They make the kind of products that we're seeing Topps make.
Right.
I'm out. I'm not going to make them. Yeah. I'm not going to collect them.
Okay. So what do you want to see?
I think that this is a good opportunity to bring new ideas, new blood.
Now, if they acquire the Topps name, which is a massive possibility now that they're not going public, if they acquire the Topps name and use the Topps name for whatever they want, for everything. I mean, technically, they could, if they acquire the Topps name, they could use it for basketball and anything. Yeah. Would you then still stay with them, even though Fanatics was using it, but they kept the Topps brand? And let's say on like this blaster, you had a little Fanatics logo somewhere. Like, would that keep you from buying? Because these are things that we're really going to have to think about in a couple years.
Yeah. And again, it depends on how these products are also structured. Can you are they collectible? Are you able to collect these products or not?
Well, I will tell.
Are they just going to be the same mediocre?
No, I will say this: Josh Luber, the guy that they put in place that's going to run the entire thing. He's the man. He's one of the guys who founded StockX. He is. I know him personally, and at the Philly show, we hung out for about an hour and a half. I watched him make a deal on one of the most expensive Otanis in the world, and we were talking, and he is such a diehard collector since he was a child of every type of thing in the hobby that I'm talking things from 10-cent cards all the way up to the deal I saw him make. Like, he is really a hobbyist. And I mean, we just talked cards and fun, not business, but just the cards for at least an hour. And so I do think with Fanatics access to the players, their access to the memorabilia, I think memorabilia cards and stuff could make a massive comeback if they do it right. Because Fanatics has all of the deals, everything that they want to do. I mean, I do see a glimmer of hope that they're going to do some pretty awesome things. And if there's one person that I would trust in that position to have that, ingenuity that you're talking about, it's Josh Luber. So I think that was a great decision. But Peeps asked right here, the longer Fanatics stays quiet about all this, the more people they will lose. Why don't they just come out with a statement? Chris, I'm going to let you answer this in just a minute, but if I can just say one thing real quick, this is all going to take a very long time. We are just in the very beginning stages of just announcing this stuff. There's really nothing for that. The infrastructure, honestly, probably is not fully built yet, and they're probably still deciding and making deals and figuring out exactly how much they can control. Can they get the Topps name? Can they get, these other things in addition to that? And so there's really nothing for them to say. Like they're saying it by acquiring the licenses, putting out the press release saying who's in charge, and letting people know that they're coming into the game in a few years. I think once there are things concrete, I think they'll make plenty of statements. They've never been quiet.
And I'm sure there's also legal aspects as to why they haven't mentioned this yet. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and whatnot. So.
Yeah, it's just not a time. It's just not a time to make a state. Like, there's nothing they can say. I mean,
and they're not coming out with anything for a few years either.
Right.
So they have time to.
There will be plenty of statements, and guys, this isn't just the beginning. I mean, there are lots of dominoes. Just from speaking to people, these dominoes have just started to fall. They are not near done. It's going to be interesting, but I got a question for you right here in terms of Panini. We talked about Topps a lot last week with everyone on the big panel and everything, but with Panini, for example, and Panini NFTs brings up a good point of what I want to talk about here. With Panini, do you think they continue with an NFT program? Because I do believe that this is only for cards. I don't believe that they can stop them from doing the NFTs. They can probably stop. It might have to be a little different than it is now, but they could do something. But do you think that this is going to make Panini's other products? Like, I mean, they haven't acquired the soccer licenses, which I don't see them doing because it's so hard to acquire with so many different leagues. That's a very weird license. But with like Panini, you've got soccer, you've got wrestling, you've got wrestling with Topps, you've got stuff like that. Do you see that stuff starting to go up as people want to, stay true to the old school brands?
First of all, I think we need to separate the Panini Group from Panini America.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's a
Panini
very big difference.
Is based in Italy.
Yep.
All right.
Major stickers.
And they make most of their money selling soccer stickers and soccer, not necessarily American style soccer collectibles, but soccer trading card games. And they sell a ton of them in Europe and Latin America. Okay.
Yes.
Panini America, on the other hand, is what used to be Donruss Playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Panini Group bought Donruss Playoff after they acquired the NBA exclusive because they had no experience making American style trading card products.
Sure.
And they had no presence in this country. So just get that. We just wanted to make that clear, because when we're talking about Panini, we're talking about
the card.
We may be talking about different things.
Exactly.
Panini Group, I don't think is going to be hurt that much because they make most of their money, again, on stickers and European soccer trading cards. As far as Panini America goes, they're kind of, I mean,
it's a tough situation, man.
They have, other than NBA and NFL, they have a partial baseball license that's going to go away in a couple of years. Panini America tried to be what Fanatics is going to be.
Yes.
They tried to acquire every license that they could.
Yes.
They had for a brief time an NHL license, which wasn't exclusive. They tried so desperately to get into the baseball market, but had to settle for a partial license with the Players Association and a partial license with USA Baseball.
Well, I will say
what else do they have?
Yeah,
they have NASCAR.
Yeah.
They got UFC, which has its audience. There's rumor and innuendo that they're going to go after the WWE license.
Yeah,
because that's up soon.
I do agree with Jason Shewitt that they do make some of the best unlicensed stuff. But yeah, it is going to be interesting to see with Panini. But real quick, Jim Pierpoint brings up, he makes a statement that brings up a question that I wanna ask you and kind of bring up a point of something that I think is amazing about this, and I'm actually incredibly excited about. And he says that he feels like buying unopened boxes from Fanatics will be like waiting for Target to drop new arrivals, then all out of stock and having to pay more, blah, blah, blah on Facebook. See, I think that sure, they're going to release some stuff online. Everything's going towards online in some way, shape, or form, but it'll always be in brick and mortars in some way, shape, or form. And I actually think the people that should be sweating the most right now, besides Panini and Topps, because I've talked to people from both companies off the record, and there's as much uncertainty to them as there is to us right now. They don't even know what's going on, some of the high ups and what's going to happen. But the people that should be the most worried are Blowout and David Adams in places in Steel City and places like that. The people that have controlled distribution, MJ Holdings, the people that have
GTSs and Southerns of the world,
the people that have controlled distribution, and that a lot of people don't realize have really contributed to the problem that Jim is speaking of right now. They have a chance to completely revamp distribution to a way that not only benefits collectors, but also benefits the sellers as well. Because, we all know how broken the distribution model is, and it's because of those companies. So if there's anyone that should be the most afraid or scared in my mind, it should be them. Because I think the distribution could change tremendously.
This is the one big positive that I see from this Fanatics deal is completely overhauling the way hobby wax is distributed.
Yeah. Guys, please call in and join the show.
Yes.
I'm going to put the link in. We've only got 2 of us here today. I would love to have a third one jump in. What's up, Kevin Jones? Call in, Kevin. Give us your opinion on this. Kevin, you're a regular on the show. Come on, hop on. Tell us what you think about all this. If you got any questions or anything like that, it is going to be interesting. And Jason, you are correct. They do have, the biggest inventory of old stuff, but I'm not speaking.
I don't think it's fair to lump Blowout and Steel City and those guys with the distributors because.
I'm speaking of new product in the future, because that's all right. Put the people, forget about old product. They're always going to be fine on that. I'm talking about being worried about being able to get, how they have massive amounts of 2021, 2020, 1999, whatever. In 5 years, they might not have that massive amount. That's what I'm saying they should be concerned with, because they could completely change a lot of this. Now, Tom's a great friend of mine, Jason. I know Tom Fish well. He's amazing. But they will, of course, be fine. Blowout has a ton of stuff. Blowout's awesome. I think Blowout's an incredible company. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I'm talking about the distribution method itself. And that is something that a lot of those companies do have a lot of control in. And, this is a chance to have that adjusted a little bit, because, it's not been able to be done so far.
Agreed.
Anyway, guys, so like I said, the link for the call in is right there. Please give us a call. Let us know what you think of the of the deal? Are you guys staying in? Is this something where you're excited about? Are you nervous about it? Is it something you're intrigued by? Does just the name Fanatics turn you off? Because see, I think people have a bad view of Fanatics. I didn't realize how many people had a bad view of Fanatics, but a lot of people apparently have major issues with them. I've always thought that they were an excellent company. Now, when they go,
I think a lot of people have had problems with the quality of their Fanatics branded merchandise.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, oh, you want to blow out? Well, okay.
No, that's what I was saying, Rex. It's the new product. That's what I'm talking about, not the stuff that they already have inventory of. Of course, all of that, but it's definitely interesting, and it's gonna be something that I think we're gonna have news on this for weeks and weeks to come. I don't think, years to come. Honestly, this stuff is just gonna keep going. And Jim, I agree. I'm excited to see what they do with everything. I mean, I'm sad that that some of my favorite products might come out, but I'm excited to see what they can do with everything. I honestly think they're going to acquire the Topps name, and I honestly think that in a couple years we're going to get Topps Chrome basketball. I think we're going to get Topps Chrome football back. I really think all this stuff is going to come back, and to me, if they can do that, that's absolutely incredible. And the access to the athletes, I think you're going to see a lot more on card stuff. Because they
fewer redemptions.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Hopefully.
So many. No.
Especially since the Players Association will have some skin in the game with this venture.
Exactly.
That's a positive.
Yes. Hopefully. There's a lot of things that are going to change to this that I think could be really, really cool. So, it's going to be pretty cool, I think. I'm interested to see in it. I'm not somebody that's all, let's face it, dude, in the hobby these days, anything new and anything that happens, everybody hates it right away. I'm not somebody like that. I'm willing to give it a chance. I like to at least see it play out. I think some of the stuff like the 20-year deals freaking stupid, but that's just me. Some people say it's excellent and brilliant from a business standpoint. I don't consider myself or ever claim to be a genius in business, so it could be, but in my eyes 20 years seems absurd. So
I want to touch on two comments in the chat.
Absolutely.
One from Jim about Bowman baseball. I could see that if Fanatics doesn't acquire Topps, the brand name, and Topps in 2026 just continues on as a trading card company, I could see that brand evolve into almost something like
could they
draft pick set and
unlicensed I was about to say, could they not do the minor league teams? Could they not do the minor league teams?
Or it could become a minor league set.
Like instead of having Yolbert, instead for a first Bowman, instead of having Yolbert Sanchez in a White Sox uniform, can they have him in his whatever low A, team, whatever it's on?
And regarding that 2-year period between the expiration of the MLBPA license, which is at the end of 2023, and the expiration of the MLB license in 2025, for those 2 years, 24 and 25, Fanatics could theoretically be making partially licensed cards of the major league players, but Topps could then make partially licensed cards of draft picks and minor leaguers in major league uniforms.
Yeah.
So
we'll
there
see
could
the
be
one
an interregnum where the Bowman brand evolves into that.
Yeah, and let's face it, they do not have anything in agreement with NIL right now. And so the NIL may choose to stay completely out of it, and Topps and Panini might end up going after collegiate stuff. A lot of different things could happen. I don't see them giving up I don't see it anything like that. It's just not. I mean, it makes no sense not to just.
Or Topps could just go out of the trading card business and just become a candy and gum.
That would be a sad day in the hobby, as it's, but it is what it is. But I am excited. That is one of the worst case scenarios. But
So second comment I wanted to was from DR about wax products inside of lid stores.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Fanatics. Maybe. I mean, lid stores are kind of small.
Yeah.
Have small footprints.
Well, and Rex makes it great.
I could see Fanatics opening up their own chain of LCS stores in shopping centers, stadiums, wherever you find lid stores.
That's the big thing, is Fanatics has access to so much stuff. The access that they have is going to provide them the opportunity. Whether they capitalize on it or not is a completely different story. But they have all of the access and opportunity to make something freaking incredible. They really do. And like Rex says, they really shouldn't be. I mean, if they're putting them in lids are so small. I mean, they got to have the lids in there too. There's not going to be 8 million boxes in there. And like he says, Nike sells online and brick and mortars and to hundreds of independent retailers and do just fine.
And you can have, Fanatics can make something like a Nike store, like a tourist attraction.
Right.
In Midtown Manhattan, Orlando.
Oh, that will happen.
Las Vegas, that sells everything. Licensed merchandise, lids, hats,
exclusive signings, everything. Yep. I mean, they've, and I, honestly, I expect that to happen. I expect 1 or 2 or 3 across the country in some big areas of some, experience stores, if you will, where you can get everything, and there's a lot of stuff you can do, because Fanatics has always been about that. They've got a great core infrastructure there. I'm interested to see what other hobby names they put on the board here. It's good because it really hasn't been filled out completely. You've got Josh in charge, but they haven't really announced who else is going to be working on all this. There's a lot of very, very talented and respected people in this industry that are free agents, so to speak, doing their own thing. And there's, getting them on the board could have a massive, massive impact on all of that for a positive. And big question, Rex says, big question for LCSs is how allocation is done. Also, will there still be a separation between hobby and retail? And that's it's kind of where I was talking about earlier. This is where the distribution, I think is completely changed. I think this is where they get to finally, adjust this distribution and make it to where it's a little more fair and where it's a little more balanced. I would hope that they would keep LCSs in mind. I don't think that they would have. I don't think Josh would have taken the job to try and cut LCSs out. I know him very well.
It would be
it would be counterproductive.
Yeah. This is where your best customers buy your stuff.
Right.
These stores. Why would you cut them out?
Well, and they also know that would be the way to Josh in any meeting, if he has the pull that they're making it, say in any meeting where that's going to be brought up, he's going to say, why don't we just alienate 3/4 of the hobby while we're at it? I mean, those are things that I think people are getting worried about, but they've got smart minds in there that are not going to let that happen, because they know, at least some of the people there know that they're walking and they're going into very unfamiliar territory, and they are going to have to ease people into this, and they're going to have to prove themselves. And I think that's what you're going to see, and it would probably be a year and a half before you really start to see some stuff ramping up. But I think you'll see a good year or so of promotion and, push. So you probably got a year and a half or so of time where we get some trickle down news and a couple of these other dominoes that I'll speak of that are going to definitely topple. I think those will fall, and eventually we'll get some promotion.
If I were in charge of promoting Fanatics, beginning January 1, 2025, I would just start a countdown. 1 year until our first baseball card set.
Yeah.
And release that 2026 Fanatics set or 2026 Top set right on January 1 and just go all out.
Well, and do it. One thing I wish hobby like Topps and Panini would do that maybe Fanatics will do that would be awesome would be get a little bit of it off the internet. Have some fun with it. Like put that countdown up. Make some people maybe find some exclusive, like the exclusive first ones by doing some scavenger hunts. Like get people out and going. The hobby. People in the hobby love to get out, whether it's a card show, going to trade night, whatever. Get it, make it fun besides just sitting typing on a computer. Make it to where it's getting out and getting the experience and getting people together. I mean, and that's something that Fanatics has done a great job of in the past. They do some incredible, cool events and things like that. And so I think it would be neat, but I do think you're right. Put that countdown up, slowly trickle stuff out, but you're gonna have to also, luckily Josh doesn't mind doing this, but you're gonna have to go on a lot of shows. Hopefully we can get him on Hobby Hotline. You're gonna have to talk about this. You're gonna have to discuss things eventually, not now and not anytime soon, because there's nothing that they can even talk about really right now. But in that time, it's going to be crucial to win that public trust over. And, that I think that's why they're acquiring the licenses, getting everything done, and that's it. Now, normally, 10 years ago, we wouldn't have even paid attention to this because it wouldn't have been so newsworthy and all over Twitter, Topps and Panini, Topps found out 20 minutes before we did that they lost the license. So, that's how it is nowadays, not how it was like a decade ago. So, it's a lot different.
Okay, another question in the chat from DR. Could Topps leverage Eisner's Disney experience to create a sports card theme amusement park? Well, first of all, Michael Eisner is no longer part of Disney.
Yeah.
And second of all, I believe Panini has the Disney license.
They do.
Yeah. As for an amusement park and entertainment center, like Baseball Card World, I don't know.
Well, I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, just a really cool shop with some neat things. Yeah. Maybe like a
destination store, like the way the NBA does or Nike does.
Yeah, just a little experience store with little things. Maybe make one of those things like Panini has where you can get your photo taken or that video where it makes a cool video, something neat like that. I mean, Fanatics is the one that makes all that stuff. If you ever see their booths at shows, they're incredible. They do so much cool stuff. I could see something like that 100%. And DR, I do agree. They will leverage their relationship with Lids. They did it a couple years ago with the Lids exclusive cards. They'll do it, but I don't know. And Sean Germain, what's up, Sean? And great question that I would love to answer. I'm gonna let you answer first, and then I'm gonna answer. But how long until release do we get Fanatics card grading?
Well, doesn't Fanatics slab some cards now?
They'll
encapsulate. I have seen some of them.
They encapsulate.
They encapsulate.
Stuff, yes.
They don't grade them.
They encapsulate just like these, the letter rip slabs like that we have for letter rip. They encapsulate. They will never grade their own cards.
No.
Because they completely the hobby would not accept it. They would not use it, and it would be 1,000% looked at by every hobbyist as a conflict of interest.
Yes,
it's just like grading your own cards. Like it's just like why Nat Turner won't grade his own cards at PSA or Tyler Hidd at HGA. If you're into that, you don't grade the cards. Beckett employees and stuff
Cannot
get their cards graded. So now if you're working in like Beckett authentication, you can get Beckett graded stuff. But if you're working in the grading area, you can't use the grading company.
Or the price guide or editorial.
Right. Exactly. So I don't see Fanatics going into grading, but I definitely see them pushing their encapsulation. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of their releases include like things like encased, instead of going to Beckett and asking them to slab it up with a slab or anything, just encasing it themselves. Yeah. I could see them doing things like that. Absolutely. But yes, they do some type of encapsulation. I don't know if they offer it as a service, but I know they've done it for things in the past.
Yeah, they sell a lot of autographed trading cards, not pack pulled, but third in-person trading cards. Maybe they'll have a signing session with a player, and then they'll encapsulate their own cards and sell them on their website. So.
DR, speaking of, I don't know exactly where you live, but if you're looking for some awesome shops, there are some incredible shops in a lot of areas of the country. Speaking of Disney, if you're down in Orlando area, Leighton Sports Cards is one that is an absolutely incredible shop. If you're up here in the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee area, you've got Grand Slam, which is amazing. I forgot where, I think it's Pittsburgh where the Dave and Adams shop is, which is an incredible Buffalo. Okay. Which is an incredible shop. You've got over in Denver, you've got, what is it? Iron, I can't remember. Iron Lion out in Denver, and then out
Mike
in
Stadium.
And then out in California, you've got Third Base Sports Cards, which is part of Walk-Off Submissions that I work with. They just opened up an incredible shop, and if you're in the Maryland area, definitely Bel Air Sports Cards and the Card Bar.
I was there yesterday.
Oh, see, there you go. Bel Air, Mel and Bel Air.
LCS now. So.
There are some. Mel is one of the greatest guys. The Card Bar is awesome. It was a genius idea. I remember when we were drawing the plans up for it at the National together. It was fun. And it's neat to see what he's become. But there's a lot of awesome card shops out there. Definitely, man. Go out there. Where are you located? We'll keep going on talking on the show, but once I know where you're located, I can point you to some cool shops nearby. But there's definitely some fun ones. But yes, there's also a lot of rinky-dink ones too, because a lot of people just want to open up a shop and throw wax in it, or they've owned it for like 40 or 50 years, and they just, it is
junk
what it
wax
is.
Survivors still around.
Right. Exactly. And Sean, a lot of people have been looking at it from a monopoly standpoint, but the grading just isn't plausible. The public wouldn't accept it. Again, it's one of those things where I think the smart card people in the room, if it was ever brought up in an executive meeting, would say the same thing. Sure, let's alienate the hobby and ruin our investment while we're at it. And that's what that would do. Okay, Syracuse, New York. Yeah, sure. See, you're close to quite a few great card shops.
Syracuse, home of Jefferson Burdick.
Oh, okay, cool.
I actually went to his grave, like maybe about a dozen years ago, and filmed a box break video.
Nice. That's cool.
It's on YouTube somewhere.
That's really cool. And you just gave me actually a very good idea to do something. So thank you for that. But nice. Well, I'll tell you one thing, DR. Save up the money. Head out to Atlantic City next year. You want a cool card shop? Forget the card shop. Just come to the National, and there's your Disney World. So there you go. Forget Disney. Take the kids to the National and AC. It's right there for you. That's where you want to go. That's one thing that's big. And so anyway, guys, please call in. If you have any questions, call in and join the show. We've got a little bit of time left before the show. I've got
15 minutes.
A little bit. Yep. Kevin Jones has a question. Then I actually have something I wanted to bring up as well. What about Fanatics just selling high-end inserts from products and never putting them in packs? Kevin, they're not going to be buying all these licenses to do that. They're buying this. I mean, and Josh wouldn't have accepted the position to do that. They're in it to make. They're in it to make boxes of cards. They're in it to continue the hobby. It's just going to look different.
If you think about it, though, isn't that kind of what Topps does now with like Project 70 and all these other direct-to-consumer a la carte card sets?
Yes.
Instead of putting the inserts in the pack, they just sell them to you directly.
Yeah.
So maybe they do that. I don't know. But the same inserts that they put in packs, they better not be selling
the
same ones.
You might have your white sparkle type of pack or your kaboom packs or something like that. Rex. Also, Rex, sorry, but I don't know exactly where you're located. But definitely Rex's shop is absolutely awesome because beyond just the fact that he puts Hobby Hotline on the TV every week, which is awesome, brother. Please DM me on Facebook, by the way, about that.
If you have a card shop that you regularly visit, tell them to put us on the screen every Saturday morning.
Yeah, throw us on the screen. Yeah. We'd love to be in the card shops, and we'd love for you guys to call in and join the show. Like I said, don't be camera shy. You're probably going to be the best looking one on camera if you turn the camera on. So I mean, you got nothing to worry about there. But we would love to. Like I said, we love interacting with you guys. The whole point of this show, not only to answer your questions in the feed, but is to talk with y'all, and talk and discuss this stuff because there's too much just arguing and too much one-sided nonsense instead of just having a fun discussion about some stuff that's going on. And we'd love to answer any questions you have if you're new to the hobby or if you're a hobby vet that completely disagrees with us and wants to say we're full of crap. Call in and let us know. I get told that constantly by my son down there.
We love a good argument.
Yeah, always. That it makes for great TV, so definitely call in. But anyway, a couple of things before we wrap up, guys. We won't stick around and talk about just Fanatics, but we do have Optic basketball dropping in a couple of weeks, and we've also Mosaic basketball. So the new basketball is about to start kicking off. That's going to be interesting. And then obviously football season kicking on. Well, Mosaic football is going to be coming out. Mosaic football is going to be huge. I think we're in for a football collecting season, dude. Like we've never seen.
Especially when the top 3 picks in the draft were all quarterbacks.
And they all
he had to love that.
Yes, and they all look decent. And honestly, I think this is the year where people start to collect more than just quarterbacks. I see it happening. I see a trend towards running backs, wide receivers, players like that getting a little more love than in the past because a lot of people are going to be priced out of quarterbacks too quick, honestly, I think. And, it's there's so many new people in new places. It almost feels like a new league in some ways. Like you look down the list and you see some constants, but then you see so much new, whether it be just switching teams or so many rookies, this massive youth movement.
Stafford with the Rams.
Yeah.
Jared Goff with Detroit.
Yeah. Breeze gone.
Breeze is out. Jameis Winston's now the starter in New Orleans.
Dude, Jameis Winston's cards are the #1 rising card in the hobby right now.
Really?
The #1. I have it right here, courtesy of my awesome folks over at Card Ladder. I was looking at it earlier. Jameis Winston cards. Where did it say how much they rose? It absolutely blew my mind. Okay. Jameis Winston's Topps Chrome in the last 7 days has gone up 51.6%, his base card. Damn. That's just his base. In 30 days, 76.6%.
Wow.
Like And that's at a PSA 10. His PSA 10s are going
crab legs.
That's a lot of crab legs. His PSA 10s are going for over $150, close to $160, and his raw is up to $10 to $15. Those were a dollar card lately.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you own Jameis Winston, cash out. I know this isn't a show where we give too much advice on it, but cash out. Peeps, I don't know what changed, and we'll leave it on this. This will be a great last question of the day. I don't know what it is. I always assumed that in an industry where we're obviously all diehard sports fans, or we wouldn't collect cardboard with people's faces of them on it. So we're some of the biggest sports fans in the world, yet we don't give respect to certain positions. We don't collect certain positions. We follow the same trendy, he's the quarterback, he's the coolest, instead of guys that we truly think might be the best at something. It's always been interesting to me. I've never understood it, and I never will. I never will.
Yeah, nobody collects the best left guard in the league.
Right. Jeff Saturday cards.
Yeah. And the quarterback is the glamour position as well.
Right. I mean, yes, of course it is. But see, now that you're getting wide receivers, running backs with endorsement deals with their helmets off. That's been the biggest problem with football, is for years you only knew the quarterback with his helmet off. The wide receivers and running backs, they didn't have the tons of endorsement deals, so you didn't really know who they were.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing them on shows. You're seeing them, their focus with their helmet off, so you actually know who they are. For a long time, the helmet actually prevented them from truly becoming like a household name, like an NBA or a Major League Baseball player. But now they're taking that helmet off. They're getting a lot more exposure, and that's one of the reasons I think that you're going to see an uptick in people collecting some of them because of these positions again. Because not only are you going to get priced out of quarterbacks, but for once, you know who these people are by their face.
Quarterbacks can't score all those touchdowns by themselves either.
Exactly.
Got to throw it to someone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna wrap up a little early today. I guess it's been a crazy week in the hobby, and it's been a crazy week pulling the show together as Chris and I hopped in just to make sure that we kept Hobby Hotline.
I didn't know
going.
I was doing this until yesterday.
Last night, me neither. But we do what we do. We knock it out. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Thank you so much. It will be up on. We do this
for you. We do this for the hobby.
Exactly. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Love doing it. And guys, if you missed some of the shows or missed any of the past episodes, or if you can't catch it live, you can always listen to it in podcast form on all the major podcast networks. We're on iHeartMedia Network, so you can find us on Spotify, or iHeartRadio, Pandora, any of those places, iTunes, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find Hobby Hotline. Just
throw Hobby Hotline into the Google machine and you will find us.
Yeah. And drop some reviews, and please like and subscribe and hit thumbs up on YouTube. It really helps us out quite a bit. We're getting up to the followers level. Thank you guys so much. But please subscribe, like the channel, pound those thumbs up buttons and everything, and share on Facebook, all that stuff. It helps us out a lot, but we really appreciate it, guys. We love coming to you guys every single week, and it looks like we're gonna have a lot of interesting stuff in the next really couple years,
next couple of months, couple of years. It's gonna be interesting.
Yes, to say the least. We will. I doubt it will be too much of a slow news week, so to speak. No. But anyway, Chris, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Same here.
Yes. Well, guys, thank you.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, Rex. Shout out for putting this up in the hobby shop. Greatly appreciate it. Talk to you guys next week with an all new set of cast and characters. See you guys later.
Later.